I'm going to talk with you today about the first time you ever put your puppy on a leash. What does that look like? So a lot of people come to me and they have training goals that they want their dogs to walk nicely on a leash, and they often ask, how do you teach that? The way I teach it is foundation skills inside first, and once we have a good foundation, then we take our training skills outside of our own distractions. So I'm going to introduce Neptune. Neptune is going to be our demonstration puppy. He's actually my new dog. He is a 10-week-old wire fox terrier, and he has never been on a leash before. So I'm going to show you guys how I teach him how to focus on me, how I get him used to being on a leash, how I teach him to keep that leash loose. For me personally, I want a leash on a dog to mean stay close and focus on me and walk nicely. I don't want them to go on a leash and take off running or feel like they can zigzag. I really want to create that foundation, and I have learned that the foundation we create now at 10 weeks old is what actually sets us up for long-term success. So my tools today, I have a red dingo harness. I really like this harness. I'm going to put him down for a second. I really like this harness because it's easy to put on a puppy and it supports their chest. So when I'm teaching a puppy how to walk nicely, I don't want to put something on their neck where they can pull and choke themselves or it's yanking their neck. So I want to put something on that's going to be comfortable for them and something that's going to be safe. So I typically will start with a red dingo harness. The other reason I really like this harness is because the way it clips, I can put this over his neck like it's a collar, and then put it under his little legs, and then I can clip each side. So if you ever put a harness on a puppy before, sometimes they're wiggling and they're fumbling and they're moving around and you're trying to like get their legs through, this solves all of that. So it's an easy, happy, good experience for them. The other thing I'm gonna use is a leash, and this is a pretty simple leash. It is a probably 4-foot small training lead. I clip it to the harness. When I am teaching leash walking, my goal long-term with an adult dog is there is no leash pressure, which means as I'm walking with them, they are focused on me, they're connected, they're staying close, I can walk them with a finger. So I typically, with my personal puppies, will start out with a very light leash to where it's not, they're feeling the leash and they can feel it's super heavy. It's a very light leash because I'm teaching really good foundation of staying close to me. So I'm gonna get little Neptune all harnessed up, and I'm going to turn the video on and show you exactly what my first foundation experience looks like. This training session will be 2 to 3 minutes long for him, and then the harness will come off, and I'll do this every day for a couple of days, sort of starting to walk, and then I'll move outside. But I just wanted to show you guys what day 1 looks like because that is such an easy piece to miss, and I have a lot of clients that are getting new puppies, so I want to make sure we can start you guys off right. So I'm going to harness him up, and I will let you guys know the next step. Okay, so Neptune has his harness on. I have his leash in my hand. I have a couple treats and my clicker, and the first thing I'm going to do is click and reward for him just coming near me. I just want him to get used to the feel of having that harness on for a second, walk a couple steps, see if I can get some eye contact there. I'm not asking, I'm just letting him offer and rewarding him. So once I feel pretty comfortable with that and that he can walk with the harness on and he's not confused or trying to fight it, then I'll go ahead and put his leash on. So when I go to put the leash on, I'm going to have the leash in my left hand, have a treat in my right hand, lure him in, grab his harness, and then go ahead and slip that on him. So we have a leash on. Remember, he's never had a leash on before in his life, so he is like, what in the world is this? So, leash is going to be on, same thing, leash is on him, I take a couple steps, he comes toward me, you can see he's doing some wide circles, he's like, what is this thing? And I'm clicking and feeding. So he starts to figure out that leash being on, all it means is stay focused and stay connected to me. I'm not pulling him, I'm letting it be his choice. Yes. If he started to panic and didn't want to walk toward me, I would loosen that leash and squat down and make him feel safer. Good boy. What a good boy. So just a couple steps this way. That clicker is marking the good behavior. So every time he hears that click, he knows it means he's going to get a reward. And all I'm doing is marking that when this leash is on and this harness is on, staying focused on me is what we want. This is so important when you start to take your puppy out in public and you're walking and you're passing squirrels or other dogs or people, and your puppy is like, I know that this leash on means focus on mom, and that's going to help you so much with your training down the road. Literally, give yourself 3 training sessions in your house before you take your puppy on a walk. You're going to see a huge difference. Now, the other thing that I do like to work with puppies on with the harness and leash on and when we're inside is finding a heel position. So what that means is this, coming and sitting next to me. That's a really good starter position. So we practice a little bit of, good boy, little walking, good boy. And we practice some finding a heel position. So when you're finding that heel position, you've got a treat in your hand, your clicker's in your left hand, your puppy starts out in front of you. Good boy. You can see he's a little bit like, I don't know what this leash is. I'm going to pull my treat behind me to the side, ask him to sit, and reward that position. Good boy. I like him a little bit closer to me. Good. If I can stand up and he looks up at me, I'm clicking and feeding. Good. Let's go. Boy. So that is pretty much what our first session looks like. I'm not pulling him, I'm not making him run laps. I'm just, good boy, having the leash on him and getting him used to him realizing this leash on him doesn't mean anything less than just focusing on me. Good boy. I will do about 3 sessions that are 2 or 3 minutes long before I ever take my puppy outside. And this is what it should look like. So just a little bit of that focus, that eye contact. This is what's going to build the foundation for a well-behaved puppy going forward. Good job, little man. And then at the end of the session, I'm going to pick him up, take his little leash off, go ahead and reward him a couple times. Something you'll also notice is by doing this and being very deliberate and intentional about the harness is on, the leash is on, we're training for a second, he's not biting the leash, he's not chasing things, he's not pulling away from me. All of these things are very, very important in what I want long-term for him, which is harness and leash is on, and I've got a puppy that cares and is focused and wanting to work with me. So being deliberate about your training sessions from day 1 is going to be a game changer as your puppy gets older. So that's our plan. Thank you for watching. And he's a good boy. He's a good puppy. Stay tuned for more.